All right, team. Today we are going to add functionality to the post and the comments inside of that post. So let's just jump in and see what we're going to build. So we've got our post. What we're going to add in is the interaction here with the likes. We're going to add the ability to add a comment. Let's hit send on that guy. Here's a comment. We can like the comment. We can reply to the comment. And then we can send and like that or unlike it. So that's what we're going to build. Let's jump in. So last time, let's refresh our memories. We looked at, or we set up all of this in the views. So we added all the layout of all the stuff, and then we're showing the likes and just giving it a general look and feel, right? So we've got some interactivity there. But today what I want to do is actually be able to add a reply and also be able to like these comments. So let's dive in. We will start by setting up the routes in Trpc. So let's go. Figure out where we were. We were inside of source, pages, project, slug, questions, post ID. There we are. So you can see at the moment when we add a comment, it does nothing. So we need to set all that up. What else do we need to do? We also need to be able to actually create a post. So when we're in here, you want to be able to ask a question. Because at the moment you can just see a question, you can't actually ask a question. So maybe let's see if we can do that first. So we need to have some sort of layer. I might just quickly check with the designer on how that works. So he can possibly work on that while we continue. So I'll be right back. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this style for asking a question on this page. So we'll set it at the top. So let's dive into that one. So that'll be in the questions index. And what I'm going to do is I'll create a component, and this will be called, let's say project. And we'll create a new component called add question box. Not the best name, but it'll do. So we create that, create a component using our shortcode there. So it'll be add question box. And let's just grab that, and this will sit, let's cut this, and let's put it into project questions. That actually makes way more sense. So we paste that into there, add question box. Great. So now we can pull that in. So it's add question box. All right, and that's going to live on top of everything. So that'll be here. Yes, we do want to actually pass in the project. That would be nice. So we chuck that in there. Now what we'll do is we will need to get that and pass that in here. Let's import the type from Prisma. Chuck that there, bang. I'm just gonna write the title here. So let's see. There we go. Okay. So what does this box look like? Let's copy it because we need to be lazy for speed. Let's go into here, and it will be, so it's similar to the add comment box. So where are you living? There you are. So what we're going to just do is grab this whole thing and here, just drop that in there. So we need our user image component, We need this. We need all this. So let's just copy that in there. Bang. All right, because the reason we need Trpc is we want to see who's currently logged in, and return nothing if you're not logged in. So it's very similar, very similar. So we get the user. We're going to have a set state again. Where's that actually coming from? Okay, so we're doing it from outside. Do we need to do that again? Probably not. So we can probably have a set state straight from here. So we're going to get set state from React. All right, keep going. There you are. Good on you. So we're going to have const input value and set input value. And that's going to be from set state, and we're going to start with the empty string. Perfect. So let's go here. This will be input value. And this will be, so in the placeholder, we're going to be like, ask a question. Right? And then here, add comments. So this will be from callbacks. So it won't be a comment. What we'll have is, it'll be called it'll be called create post, yeah? So let's just type that for it. Not sure why it keeps going there. Go create post. And it's going to be a string returning nothing. Cool. So that will be here, create post with the value. And this will be called input value. Okay. And that will be send. All right. So let's have a quick look at what that looks like. Okay. Yep. We're not passing callbacks in. So we need to go into here, into the questions page, and actually pass in the callbacks. So from here, it'll be create post. And then all we're going to do for now is just going to go console.log. And this will be post body. So we're going to get a value here. So let's just say value, just for now. We're just going to console log that out. Okay. Just checking our work. So let's jump in and see. Set state is not a function. Yeah, it's not a function. I made that up. It's called use set state. It's called use state, sorry. Use state. Good on you, Copilot. Didn't even help me out there. There we go. We got questions. Ask a question. Cool, that looks pretty good. So let's just give it a little bit of room here. So we're going to want a little margin top on this guy. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to add a margin top. Let's add a 4 here. Excuse me, I just have a vapor drop in my mouth. So let's make that 8. All right. There we go. That looks pretty good. So you got questions. You got the person who's logged in, which is me, and then you got the question here. So you can say, "Hey there, was wondering what you did for the exterior wrap. Who did?" So what we can see here is that we're using an input. So that's not ideal. What we want to implement eventually is, I think, something that grows. So we probably need to use a text area because we can actually have the height and multi-line. So for the question box, let's go with a text area. So that will be here. Okay. We're gonna, oops, there we go. So we can see there, we got the text area. The send button does look funny now, being there. So let's jump into our old friends over here in Facebook. So they launched something like that to add a post. So you click on something and then we've got a text area already with a post button down the bottom. Yeah, I think it's just this button feels funny being here to me. So what can we do here? I wonder if it feels better there or if it feels better at the bottom. Let's see. So we can go, let's try direction of column here. So we could just do that. And then we can make this a bit bigger, which might work nicer. This alignment feels a bit off. But this way we give a little bit more room, and at least you can like see what's going on. Yeah, what we can also do here is align items, flex start, or we can do flex end. That might actually feel a bit more natural. Let's do something like that. I think that'll look okay. So what have we done? So we've set the height. We've set the height of this box now to 130. So let's go text area height. We're going to say about 130. Then what we're going to do is add a flex, because I want to add a border on top of this button. And this will be justify content, flex end. And we also want a little margin top on this guy. We also want a border top width of 1 pixel. True. Let's see what that looks like. Not there, not exactly right. Let's just refresh, just make sure there's nothing funny going on. Let's see what's happening. Border top width. Okay, we need to do that in pixel. Okay, and then we're gonna have a little bit of padding as well. Let's see if 2 looks right. I think it needs to be 4 to match. All right, so now we've got the big ask a question box here. When we type away, type, and we hit send, you can see there's our post body, okay? So that's pretty cool. So now what we're gonna do is when we hit that, we should see that we'll want this to pop up in here. Okay, so to do that, what do we need to do? We need to go into server, router, and we're going to need to have, this is a project post. So let's just refer back to our DB. So it is a project post project, but it's a post. So we're going to create a post, and then we're going to link it back to the project. Okay, so we're going to hit the post route, and then we're going to join it, because we're coming from a project, we're going to join it to the post project. We're going to join it to the manufacturer and the model. So let's get that set up. So it's going to be in posts, and here's our create post endpoint that we started. So here we're going to have input coming in. I'm just trying to think on what the best way. I guess we're going to pass up the relations for this post. So this will be a bit more complicated than normal, but let's see how we go. Mutation. So we also need to pass in the input here. So what are we going to get? The first thing that we're going to get, or that we require when creating a post, is actually the post body. So I'm just going to open up this model. So you can see here we've got the body. Maybe I'll open it up in Prisma so it's easier to see. So if we look at the model post, so what we're looking for is a title, a body, and a post type. All right, the user as well. So let's just grab this so we can see what we need. I'm just going to comment those out. So the first one being body, it's always required. Title is the same thing, always required. Post type ID. I reckon for this one, let's do again, we'll go post type key. So we can do an easy lookup so we don't have to fetch all the post types to begin with. Then we're just going to have the user ID, and that's a string also required. Actually, we don't need the user ID because we can get that from the context. So that's all good. Then the next piece is like, okay, so now I want to join these to certain things, and remembering that a post can belong to many items. So the way we're going to do that is through an array. So I guess we can call them relations or tags. So tags, I mean, let's go relations or related entities, I think, right? So we're going to create, so you can post these up, and then it's going to be it can be an array, and it's optional because I don't think we need this to be. We always need this. Wow. Okay, it's tripping out there. Now, what does a related entity look like? So I'm going to say it's an. Let's see. How do we make this look? Because a related entity could be one of many things. So it's just an array, and it can have. Let's go. If it has, so it'll be the different things. So this could be a project ID, right? It could be a manufacturer ID. It could be a manufacturer model. It could be a manufacturer part ID. Yep, you had it there, Copilot. Manufacturer part ID. What else can it be? It can have an image ID. Right, because all we're doing is we're looking at image, manufacturer, model, part, post, type, projects like user. Okay. So it's an array of an object that needs to have one of these. I'm not that good at Zod to know how to say it needs at least one of these. But let's have a look and see if we can find that. So it's like Zod validate at least one. So let's try that one. Let's try refine. So it's on the object. I think this needs a separate bracket here, yeah. Let's just fix this formatting because it's actually a little bit hard to read. So that goes there, the array gets opened, the array is optional, and then we refine this one. And what we say is project ID, we need manufacturer ID, I do actually like this thing. They said at least one defined. Let's try this out. So let's just put that one there. Let's see if that works. So this object, what we're saying here is it's an array of objects with keys and values. We've set all of these to optional, but we say at least one. Right, so if all of these, you only need to set one of them. And actually we only want one. But anyway, let's see how this works. What are you saying? Body does not exist. Input post body, maybe we have to call it post body. Oh, okay, yep. Input is a z.object. Cool. Copilot sometimes hurts more than it helps. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the returns. We need to just quickly go into, I'm just going to grab another mutation. So we get the context. We also, yeah, so you can see here, we can get the user ID through the context as well. So let's go. So we're going to return the context of Prisma, but this is going to be a post dot create. And then the data. Okay, so the main data is the title, the body. Let's just call that body. That wasn't a mistake, so we'll fix that. Body. We're going to have the post type key. So this will be post type connect key is equal to post type key. That's it. Then let's see what else we have. We've got user. So we can say user ID is equal to context.session.user_ID. This is a protected procedure, so that is set. So what I also need to do now is, so when we create the joins, we have to look at, so let's just see if this works. We go posts, projects. Just trying to see, have we done this before? How do we set this up properly? It'll actually be create, always. What's this guy saying? User ID are incompatible. So what we want to do, we'll just keep moving on. So the data is actually here. So we're going to say const data. We're going to pull this all out because we want to dynamically add to it. Right, so data will just be data. Now, you can see, so this may or may not be passed through to us. And this might actually be create many, I believe. So the data is Prisma post create input. All right. What's this guy saying? What are you saying? Maybe we have to do user. And then we just have to say connect ID. Maybe I want it like that. What have we broken? Okay, we need a comma there. All right, that looks like it's working again. What are you saying? As an any type. That looks like a problem it's always got. Okay, cool, man. So now what we need to do is we're going to say, I want to look at this and see how we create multiple. So it's create many. I need to go to Prisma and look at create many. So it's Prisma. So it's an array. So we just have to pass an array. And then this will be project data. Create many post input envelope. Wowza. All right, let's go in. Create many. Oh, I'm imagining. Right. Okay. So what that means and what that needs is an object data, and that's going to be an array with project ID in it. I believe that's it. Okay, cool. So that's how we create many. So let's look at the first one. So the first one, let's look at project because we are looking at those. So we're going to say related projects. And then we're going to say if input related entities. And then what we're going to do is, I wonder if we can just do this dynamically. So we're going to say related entities, right? So we're going to loop through these. We're going to go const. What do we have to do? Let's think about how we have to set up this object. This is a little bit more of a complicated one because I just want to try and make it dynamic. So we're going to say related entity data is equal to, not so much a map function, probably a reduce. So input dot related entities dot reduce. And then what I want to do here is we're going to have an object that we're going to inject. And inside of that, we're going to have the key. So depending on the related entity key, so it's the first key inside the related entity. So each related entity, like a related entity would look like, it would be an object and it'll have project ID, right? Something like that. That would be a related entity. So what we should do here, I'm just trying to think on how we can make this as nice as possible to interact with. Because if it has a project ID, then we need to do post projects. So we're going to have to create like a mapping. So let's do that. Let me just tidy this up so it stops complaining. So we're going to say const related entity keys. Yeah, that's entity keys. That's it. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to go manufacturer ID. That's it. It's not 100%, but sure. Manufacturer part, and then we're going to go image ID. Okay, so let's actually get the real names of these tables. I think they are post manufacturers. So let's just see. So it'll be post manufacturer models, post manufacturers. Yep. And then it's post manufacturer models. Yep. Post manufacturer models, post manufacturer parts, post images. Good, it nailed it. That's great. So now we have a key map here. All right, what are you saying? Sweet. Now, so we're going to say const key, and this will be the related entity. This is exactly right. So it's the keys of the first key of the related entity. So what is this undefined? Object.keys. And this will be as string. So we're going to say const first key is equal to, yes. Cool. and then we're going to have the key. So this is going to be the key in the object. And then we're going to say if we don't have, if the accumulator hasn't already got the key, we're going to say accumulator key. So that was basically saying if accumulator will be accumulator, and then this would be, for instance, post projects doesn't exist. Right? That's what we're trying to create here. And then what does that object need to look like? That object needs to look like this. Right? So it'll be accumulator key is equal to a new object with create many, and it'll have data, and that'll have an array. Okay? So we're going to be setting up that if it doesn't exist. Set up right, so we've got the object now, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say object key dot create many dot data push. All right, and then this will be the first key, which will be project ID, and it will be the related entity first key value. Right, so that's going to set up something like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to return the accumulator. Got a lot of type errors here, but let's see. What we then are going to do is we're going to take this related entity data and we're going to just spread it in. Data. We're going to need to pull this out into, so this is going to actually have to be not const, it needs to be a let. Oh wait, we can do data dot data dot let related entity data equal nothing. It's just going to be a nothing. Then we're going to say, we're going to loop through it if we have it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say data here is equal to data. So we're going to spread in the data. And we're also going to spread in the related entity data. And that should get us where we want to be. So let's just go, we're going to create a new object here just so I can debug it. So we're going to say merge data. And that's just going to be these two. And then let's have a look at that. If we get this right the first time, I'm going to be absolutely amazed. So this is the post router. So we're going to need this. All right, so just for a quick and dirty hack, which we definitely need to refactor, is we're going to go create post mutation, trpc dot post dot create post use mutation. And then out of here, we're going to get the mutation. Mutate function. Sweet. And that's going to be just called create post mutation. Create post function. So this is actually living in the wrong house right now. But anyway, let me just move it out. One step up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is when you add a question, we're going to call create post function. We're going to pass in all these things. Post type key question, that is what we want. Body. So this will be post body coming out of here. What's your problem? Yeah, we're missing things. That's cool. Title. This is going to be, we're going to go with question about, and then this will just, what we'll do is we'll just write the project title. Okay. So we're just going to do that because we don't want to have the user have to type a title every time. All right, so that's saying it's happy, but we're not happy yet because we also want to do this related entities array. So let's do that. So we're going to set, sorry, it's not an array, it's an object. Oh no, it's an array of objects. My apologies. Is an array of objects. So we're going to link this to the project ID, which is the project.id. We're going to link this to the manufacturer ID, which is the, okay, we don't have that. So it's going to be the manufacturer model. And that'll be project.manufacturer model ID. What are you saying about this? They're all good. Okay, so that's what we're posting up. We're posting up the body, the title, the post type, it's a question, and the related entities. So let's give that a spin and see if it works. If it does, mate, we are living the dream. Can we get from here? We also need the loading. Is there loading? Is loading. Is that? Let's see, is that a real thing? Okay, add question box. So we need to say is loading here. Just pass that through. That's the comment box, the question box. So is loading, it's a Boolean. And then in here, in the button, I'm going to say is loading. Looks like we don't use the project in this question box. So we can get rid of it. Sweet. Okay, let's go. Let's see. I'm scared. I don't think it's going to work, but let's go. What happened? Did it happen? Got a result. This is my question. Okay. We got data for create many, but I guess the only way we can see this now is if we jump into, maybe Prisma Studio will be more useful for us. Nah, it doesn't look like there's a post there yet. Oh no, there it is. What am I talking about? Question about 2023 Ford Ranger Next Gen. This is my question. That's awesome. Then post project. That looks like, what's today? The 8th. We got one tagged, and we also tagged a manufacturer. So that will be post manufacturer model. There it is. There it is. Looks like we did it on the first attempt. That's not like us. There we go. I've created a question. This is my question. I love that. So what we need to do though, you saw though that we didn't actually update the UI. So we want to do a couple of things. I think what we need to do is create probably a hook here for use add question. Or not. I'm just trying to think on like how do we need to clear out the text. So if we have the input value coming from here, we can't access this when it's completed. Because this, unless you like had a callback function in here. but I don't know how I feel about it. I'd prefer to just hoist up the ownership of that. So let's fix this. So we need to firstly have a mutation in here. What we're going to do is open up this, and we're going to say on success. We need to, yeah, this definitely feels like a hook to me. So let's start setting it up properly. Yeah, so we usually do something like this. We set up a form, but I might just go and add question. I might just create a hook in here. We're going to say, right, so we're going to go function use add question box. Now what are we doing in here? So we need to get a few things. We need Trpc. I'm just trying to collect all this functionality together so we don't have to keep doing the same thing. So I want this, because we're also going to need to have the invalidation function, which is actually, maybe it's not. So because we need to actually just invalidate this one. So this will always live together. Let's just do it here. Or is it, I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to think here, like, do we keep all this information together? Because this, you can see this thing's becoming a bit hectic. Project question. So really what we want to do is, let's rename this. Oh, sorry, we'll just delete this whole, rename this, sorry. Use project question. I'm going to make a hook for that. Because this is all around the project. So we're going to just pull this into the hooks. I'm going to get rid of that folder. The joys of live coding. Making all the decisions. So we're going to grab all of this code. And I'm going to pump that into here. And then we're going to pass in params here. Actually, we don't even need params because we're going to get the project slug from the router. So we can grab that. Right, so we're going to get project slug, and then we're going to get the data of the project. So what do we need to export here? So we're going to return the project. We're going to return posts with comments. We're going to return posts without comments. I'm going to have callbacks. Right, so let's see what else we're missing. We're going to have is loading. Post. Yep. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say const project questions payload equals use that. We're going to import this hook. Yeah, we don't need this. We don't need this. All right. What is this going on here? Const. And then from here, we're going to grab project. We're going to grab post with comments, post without comments, is loading. Right, so what we're doing is just tidied up this component, and it also allows us to use this hook somewhere else. If we were to refactor this component, we build a different version of it, we can have access to all these things without having to redo it all. So let's go here, callbacks. And we're going to have the create post function. We'll just have create post. Okay, so that will come out of here. So we need to just have, that's broken. And we're going to have the create post function. All right. Sweet. And that's our payload. Now, realistically, what we can do is we could generate all of this here. So what we can actually move this, right? Because we're going to say it's going to, what we're going to pass in here, we're just going to pass in the post body. And then this function is going to do the rest. Right, so we don't have to constantly pass all that around. I might even do it as an object. So at the moment, we're just going to have body as a string. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all this and just merge in params. So get rid of that. So we're going to get param, so we can expand on this later if we need to. And then we're just going to merge it into these. So these are all fixed based on the project. So we don't need the component to supply that to us. We don't need this anymore. Project. All right. Let's see. We still got a page. We've got no crashes. So what I wanted to do inside of this, and the whole reason was to invalidate. So we're going to go look for invalidate. Cool. So the way we can do that is we can go to here. So this will be posts, and then it's get posts. And then we've got the invalidate function. So on success, we're going to invalidate. Okay, so that means that when we create a new one, we want to just refetch our posts so that it stays in sync. What do we have? Should have a queue, that's fine, because we added a new hook. Okay, so let's see. So we've got two questions here. Just making my screen taller. Let's see if this works. Let's try and get a real question if we can. There we go. Anyone had issues with fuel? I hope not. All right, let's hit send. There we go. Straight in. I reckon what we should do is probably push these in reverse order so that the newest one's at the top, because then it's easier to see it pop in. So let's do that. Let's go to Trpc. Let's go to our post page. Let's go to get posts. We don't need this anymore. So this is the post. So it's the comments. We want it descending. Let's go that way. That's the wrong thing. We want to get, oh, this is get post. We're in the wrong thing. Here it is. So it's here, and then we want to go order by, credit at, descending. Okay, let's see. Cool. So now our unanswered questions live there. And that just makes it way easier to see when we add a new one. So let's find another question. What scuff plates? Here we go. That's a good question. So if we just chuck that in, send, what scuff plates? That's really cool. All right. What we want to do here though is clear this out. So that was also part of our thing, was to use the state. So we're going to grab state, going to chuck that up here. Then we're going to say use state. That's our input value. And then we're going to have set input value as a function. And then here we're going to have set input value. or to actually add the same, it was set value and value. And set value is value string void. Cool. And now we just swap this out to value and set value and value. All right, we don't need this. Okay, so now what needs to happen also is we need to pass these through. So that comes from here. So we got value. I'm just going to cast that as input value just in this to make more sense. It is actually called input value. I reckon we change this as well. It makes more sense. Let's go value. Okay. And then this will be set input value. And then what I'll do is I'll change it inside of the other one as well. The add comment box. So this will become set input value. And this will become input value. Okay, so now we match that. Now we just have to find where we are using the add comment box though, because we have broken it. Set input value, and this is input value. Just so we're nice and consistent. Input value and set input value. All right, cool. Very good questions. Now, the whole reason for doing that was that once we've successfully created a post, we also want to set the input value to nothing. So we've passed control from this component back to its parent or to the hook so that we can now control when other things happen outside of it. So this component's dumb now, which is what we want. Set input value is not defined. Okay. Let's see why not. Here we go. Quite clear, isn't it? Set input value. And that comes out of our callbacks. But this needs to be renamed. Let's see what happens. There we go, we're getting it now. Testing clear of text area. Send. There we go. Done. We're on the money. We are nailing it. That's awesome. So what have we just achieved? We've just added in the questions box here. You can now type, add a question, hit send. We've refactored it into a component, into a hook, sorry, to use project questions. And that just contains all the logic. So if we ever want to redo this component, we can just pull that hook, use the same hook, and then just restyle the component, and we get all our values and all our logic that we need. So that's really cool. So what we're going to look at now is the unanswered questions. When we hit reply, we now want to be able to like these ones and also add a reply. So let's do the first one because it's possibly the easier one. Got a lot of nonce coming in here. Let's just fix this up quickly before we get started. Don't have any props. Great. Close all this up, clean up our heads. So inside of a post ID, we are going to do our work, but we also want to look at, we've created this before. So it was a project like button, right? So we want to do the same thing here, but we want to do the post like button. So let's create a new folder called post. And I'm basically just going to copy this whole thing because these behave, whoops, not cut, copy. Paste that in here. Right, so this will be a like button. Everywhere where it says project, we're going to rename that to post. And we're going to pass in a post. I'm just going to go all the way through here, do the same thing. Get likes count for post. And this will be post ID. All right, so we're going to need to create this. This will be for ID, and this will be post ID. So wherever we have slug, let's change that to ID. Sweet, so we don't have to do all the work again, save the time. So we will go into server, and we need to create post likes, because if we look at here, we got post like, right? So that's what we're going to try and mimic or use now. So it has a post and a user. So again, let's just copy this guy, paste him, and this will be post likes. Right, so everywhere we've used project like, we're just going to turn that into post like and change the word project to post. And we're going to now, instead of doing a slug, we're going to do an ID. So everywhere we have slug, we're going to change it to ID. Cool, so what do we have? We got, oh, no, we need to change this as well. Post. So we're going to say, we're going to have a create post like. We're going to pass up the ID of the post. Then we're going to go Prisma post like create. We're going to connect the post, and we're going to use the user that's logged in. We're going to get the likes count for post ID. So how many likes has this post already had? We've got the current user only one. Post like where, cool. Excellent. And then we've got the delete post. That's when someone clicks on it again. So you click on it once to create, click on it again to delete. And then here we can see, we're going to get the counts for the current user so we can see if they have liked it or not. And then that determines the action that we do on the other end. Cool. So now we need to add that into our app router. So we're going to create post likes router, and that'll be post likes. Sort that all. So that lives above posts, post likes router, bang, done. Now let's go into our like button here. So all those errors have gone. So this is now get likes for post ID. Right, so that's all gone. That looks pretty good. So now that looks like we've got a post like button. Just like that. So that now lives inside of this. We're going to use it in here in the project question page, which is this guy, that button there. We're going to change that out. So let's import that component. So this will be the post. I mean, we just called it the like button from the post. Cool. So where do we have our current like button? I'm just going to put that right here. We're going to pass in the post. I just want to see what those two look next to each other. Cool. So we need to make this, we're going to just change the style a little bit. So the button size, so close off project now. So the button size, this is just a standard button. So size, I think it's a medium. Let's just check that. Yep, that lines up now. Now, why are you behaving that way? I think because it's got a width on it. Yeah, let's pull the width off. Great. 0 likes. See, done all the work, don't have to do it again. And that took us a couple of minutes. Excellent. So this post has no likes. And we can like it, and we can unlike it. Job done. That was that easy. It's nice when you do things earlier. So there we go. So we've added the ability to like a post. All right, next up, let us add this. So we're going to be able to go, this is my comment. Now, we are probably going to have to adopt the same style that we did because it's going to get a bit hectic when you type long things. This is my comment. When I type a lot of text, it doesn't really look good anymore. Right, you can't do enters as well, so you can't create any sort of formatting. So let's look at that. I do want to just check. I'll use this one as our dummy. So our reply. We also just got to remember that this is using the same box. So if we change this too much, it might start looking a bit funny. So let's get rid of post likes for now. But let's go back to it's going to be our add comment box. Right, so this is currently using an input, which we're going to change into a text area. Is it text area like that? Yeah. So we're going to go text area, change that, and see what it does. It now looks like this. So what I might do is I might pass a little prop through here. We're going to use compact. And we're going to say false. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const input component is equal to, if it's compact, it's going to be input. Otherwise, it's going to be text area. We're going to then keep input up here. And then we're going to just put that there. Now, this is dynamic. So we can pass through the compact flag. So for a nested comment, so that's when we have a comment. That's when we have a comment with a nested comment. So it's basically this one. We're going to make this compact. Because in that way, when the main comment box is going to be big, so that allows you to write it big. But when you're doing a reply, we'll keep those short, just more condensed. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's look at our project question, add question box, and let's just copy what we had before. So we're going to grab this, and it's now this guy. So actually what happens is this whole thing changes. So if we are not compact, we're going to look like this. We might even just do I'm just trying to think on how best to represent this. We need to add in a partial here. So let's move that in there. That'll make React happy. What he's saying is loading is not defined. That's fine, because we're going to need to pass that in as well. All right. Cool. Yeah, not 100% there yet. So we're going to go direction. Now compact is going to be row column. Yep. So not compact and then compact. Okay. So we can actually get rid of this guy. So this is the compact code. So I'm going to say compact. You could use an or here, like a ternary, but I don't love them. And there's an argument for and against, but I prefer this compact and, or not compact. So there we go. So we got ask a question, which is actually not right. It's going to be enter your reply. Right, there we go. So there we have our full size and our compact responses. So that looks pretty cool. So let's keep moving. So what are we doing? So now we're going to have, similar to our add question, we're going to have, I reckon we use post comments. So inside of our post ID, we have all this logic. So we're getting a post. So we're going to create a new hook called use post comments. So we can contain all this logic. So we're going to say here, use post comments. And what this hook is going to be in charge of is getting all the comments for the post and then also creating new ones. So let's export that. Set up our return. Again, this is going to be very similar to this one, but also we're going to grab this data now. Right, so we need the state. What else do we need in here? We need Trpc. Right. We need params coming in. I like to define the types here. So we're going to say use post comments params, and that's going to be post ID, and that's a string. And that comes here. So post ID. What I wanted to see is what do we pass in here? Nothing. Okay, so that's fine. So we're going to just go params post ID. Bang, bang, bang. There we go. So let's go. I reckon let's rename this. It's going to be input value and then set input value. So we can follow that convention. Yep. All right. Let's pass the user through, use post comments. So now what we can do is import that. Use post comments. So that'll be const post comments payload equals that, and we're going to pass in post ID, and that's coming from use router there. And then we're going to say cool post comments payload, and then we're going to have input value, and we're going to have callbacks. We're going to have set input value, and then we're going to pass this through to there, and this is set input value. So we can actually just pass that straight through. All right. What are you saying? User is not defined. While a search sure is there. Post is not defined. Post query. I'm wondering if this should live outside still, because it's not really part of what we're trying to achieve here. So what we can actually do is pull this back out. So that's the post, we can actually just pass the post in, and this will be a post. Yeah. Prisma client. That's cool. So we don't need that there anymore. Okay, so we're back on. So the main piece here is, so it's add comment box there. So now we need to start setting up all the things we need to create. So I'm going to move that up. That actually can live here. Don't need that either. Okay. So what do we need to do here now? So we need to now be able to we need to be able to create one. So we're looking for this. So this is the mutation. And this is going to be get post invalidate, because we want to invalidate the whole post when we create a new comment. We want to invalidate the post so we can refetch those comments. So it's going to invalidate, and this will be for ID, post ID. Right? And then we're going to reset the information, the input value. And this is create comment mutation. So it's comments. This will be post comments. Let's just check out schema. So a posts comment. Oh no, so it's just a post comment. Oh no, and it is related to a comment. So we'll set up a new endpoint for post comment. So let's do that. Server, Trpc, router, and we need a new post comments. Post comments, okay. And that's post comments. So for a join, we need to create, let's just see how we do it. Where's the join table? Project parts, external links. So it's going to be posts, comments. Okay. So let's go here. So it's called posts comments router. Don't need this. These are public and also protected. So we need to do not a get. We're just going to do a create. Okay, so this is called create posts comment. And what we're going to accept in here is going to be the post ID. And then we want the comment body. Okay, so I'm going to just jump into the DB quickly. So comment ID and the post ID. So we got the post ID. We need to create a new comment, and to do so we need a body. So we are going to say let's see what it's done. So it's not right, but what it's going to do, this is completely wrong. But yeah, good stuff. So we're going to go connect. So it's going to be comment is going to be create, and the body is going to be the input comment body. And then for the post, we are going to connect where the ID is the post ID. And then for the comment, we also need the user. It's context.session.user.id. Nope. What are you saying to me? Let's do connect this. Okay. So when we create a new posts comment, it's the join table. We are going to connect the post because that already exists. Then we're going to create a new comment with the body of the comment body, and we're going to use the user that is logged in. And that is a protected procedure. You can only create a comment. Yeah, you can only create a comment if you already are logged in. Okay, so let's add this guy to the app router. So we're going to go posts, comments, posts, comments. So it comes after post likes. Sweet. So that's posts, comments, create posts, comment, right, create posts, comment. Sweet, how are we looking? We're all running. Nice. We are going to add the comment now. So that let's jump into the post. And in here, we got use post comments, and we're exporting this create post comment function. Now, when we add a comment, we're going to create a post comment. And the same thing, we're going to pass in the body. Let's just call this comment body. It's a string. Okay. So inside of this, we're going to do this equivalent. So we're going to pass in the params. All right. And as before, we're going to merge in the params. So you can see a bit of repetitiveness here. So we're going to have body, and that's a string. Now, what else do we need in here? We need the post ID. All right. And then we got this, and this is actually called, I believe it's, what have we called this one on this side? Comment body. So what we'll do is we'll say comment body is params.body. Let's get rid of that. Okay, what are you saying? Let's call that payload then. Might even call this options actually. I'll call this params. Cool. Let's put this in here. So we can grab it out of here. user is already defined. It's also not actually implemented. So here we're going to chuck is loading through to the comment box. All right. So when we create, we're going to invalidate. That's all good. So it looks like we should be able to do this now. Let's see. So we need to jump into our add comment box. Input value is loading. Okay, let's give it a spin. Let's see if we have anything here. So we're inside of our post. And we're going to say testing comment. Send. Broken. Create post is not defined. All right. Because we are calling it something different. Add comment. Let's just see what we've done here. So it's saying, that must be in here somewhere. Create posts comment. Create post comment. Where are you getting that from, mate? On click create post. Add comment box index. Create post. Ah, down here. Alright, so that's just called add comment. So it's this. Alright, so it's just because it's the same, just hadn't copied that there. Right, let's hit testing. There we go. Testing comment. Now, I'm wondering if we put those comments at the top or the bottom. So when we fetch to the actual post by ID, we want to get the post comments, and let's just order these descending. There we go. The newest will be at the top. And then eventually we'll sort those by upvotes. So yeah, just to make this, I can see my comment. When you hit that, there we go. Beautiful. All right, so now we've got the ability to add comments. It was that simple, very quick. So the next thing we have to do is we need to have this like functionality. So this is the ability to like a comment. But we also want to add the ability to add a comment on a comment. So this is to a parent comment. So this we'll do the same thing. But what we're going to do now, instead of use post comments, let's create a hook called use comment comments. That's a fun name. Let's even do this. Let's go use nested comments. Right, that's a bit nicer. So use nested comments. Now we're gonna have options here. Use nested comments options. And it'll have a comment coming in. So what we'll do is we'll import that type comment. That's it. So const comment equals options, that's cool. And then we're going to return here, we're going to have callbacks. We're going to have, that's all we need for now. So what can we do here? So with the comment, for the nested comment, I guess what we want to do is we want to be able to load, what are we returning? Let's have a look at what we're returning first. So inside of here, we're going to have our comment. And then in here, we're going to use our use nested comment. So use nested comments. So we will go here. Nested comments payload, perfect. Passing in the comment. Let's see what I also want to just quickly find is that console log that's polluting our space there. All right, let's look at this. What are we getting? So we also want to get the actual comment here. Okay, so we've got comments. So it's actually called sub comments. So we should probably rename that to use sub comments. I'm gonna leave it like that actually. So we're looking for, so this comment has sub comments, and then when we're fetching that though, what are we doing? So that's part of posts. When we get the posts, we're getting post comments include comment, and then we're including the sub comment. And it doesn't look like we have a limit right now. Okay, so that's okay. And then we're including the user's image on each sub comment. Okay. So we have sub comments. Sweet. So what do we want to probably do is we want to be able to add a comment to another one. So that will look like a comment, and then that will just go straight underneath. So if we just create a parent comment, so we need an endpoint here for comment. Okay. Then what I'm just going to grab this boilerplate. Comments router. Excuse me. All right. And then we're going to have, it's going to be called create comment. And this is a protected procedure. Yes, it has input, which is a Z object. And that will have the one that we're looking for here is we're going to have the, what can we do? We can have body. And then we can have parent comment ID. But that one is optional. Okay, so we can have the body and then the parent comment, and then we have a mutation. And we are going to say, let's see, what is this doing? Boom, okay, thank you. So the data is the input body, the user. Then if we have a parent body, we're going to have parent connect ID, input parent comment ID. Okay, Prisma comment create, include parent comment, include user. Wow, well let's see how well this did. So let's create comments router. Sweet. Comments. All right, so let's go to use nested comments again. Now we need Trpc. So we grab that. All right. It's going to be very similar again. So you can see there's a lot of duplication. So we're going to have a state again. We're also going to have the input value. All right. And now what we need is we need our mutation and also our invalidation. So this is an interesting one because what do we invalidate? I almost feel like we need to pass in a callback here for the invalidation. So instead of defining it here, so I'm just going to leave that for now. So we'll leave that there. So now what we're going to have is, this will be called create comment mutation. And this will be called create, we need to set the thing, so it's comments, and this is create comment mutate, and then we're going to have create comment function. So this will be create comment, and then we're going to have is loading here. We also want to do our input value, and we also want to have set input value. Okay. All right, let's see what we have. Looks like we don't even need, no, we do need this actually. So what we're going to get in here is, again, we're going to get the params, and that's going to have the body, that's going to be a string. And then we're going to go here, and now what we can say is body is params body, but then also we know that the parent comment ID is the comment ID. Okay. Let's see, what are we crying about? Can't resolve comments. Oh, it's just called comment, which is wrong. There we go. Sweet. Let's see. So we've got that working. Now this is what we want to work on here. So inside the comment, we've got this payload here. So we're going to destructure that. So we're going to have callbacks, and this will be set input value. And then we're going to have input value. Okay, and then we can use this in here. And then here, we're just literally going to have set input value. And then this add comment, we'll call create comment. With the body value. So let's do this again, comment body, and it's a string. All right, and then we can pass in here is loading. No. Need to pull that out of the object of the hook. All right. Let's see if we can type. The button works. So let's say testing sub comment. So it's cleared it, but we haven't invalidated. Okay, so let's see. It doesn't look like it created anything. Let's check the DB. It's always a good place to start. This is a sub comment. So I can see that there. So it is there in the DB. We just have to see, are we rendering sub comments? We might not be. Let's see. Doesn't actually look. We don't actually ever render sub comments. Okay. I might rename this to use sub comments. And then I might call this parent comment. Okay, and then in here we're going to say use sub comment, parent comment is the comment. And this is going to be called use sub comments. And then we need to just fix this. Okay. All right, so what we're doing, we are actually missing sub comments. We haven't built haven't built the ability to render them. That's a problem. So let's see here, what can we do here? So realistically, they'll live just above these, or actually below this one. So below here, we'll have our sub comments. So it'll be comment dot sub comments. Right? Oh, this is stuffing up big time. Here we go, there. Cool, but let's see what's going on here. You don't need this line. Okay, let's see what that does. Here we go. I wonder how deep this rabbit hole can go. (7c). Interesting. So that's actually rendered it, but it's not. Oh wait, is that even? Let's just check if we refresh the page. Testing sub. So realistically, we don't want to render a new comment. We want to actually disable. So within this function, in this component, we want to have a prop that's disable comments. And that's a Boolean. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, if we disable sub comments, it removes the ability to add another comment here. So we're going to say this reply button. So if it's not disable sub comments, maybe we'll change this to allow sub comments. Right, and allow sub comments will be true as default. So let's see what that looks like. Right, so that's a comment. I can reply on it. And then that's a sub comment. It looks like I can reply, but technically no. So what we're going to do is when we're rendering the sub comments, we're going to say allow sub comments, and that will be false because we don't want to allow another layer underneath that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, and the reason why I just want to limit the depth is it gets a bit hard on Prisma. I can't see a nice way of actually recursively finding comments underneath it. So you don't want to just add heaps of layers there for no reason. Performance wise, and also visually, it'll get real narrow as we nest every time. So I'm just trying to avoid that. So we can see here that we need to fix this. Like there's no gap between the sub comment thread. So maybe what we'll do is we'll create just a container here. We'll do 4 again, width of 100. Then I'll just put these inside there. And we will do direction column as well. All right, let's see what that looks like. So that's a sub comment. Now if I hit reply, it's got gap. That all looks pretty cool. And you can like the sub comment, but you can't reply to it. Cool. That's looking pretty sweet. So what do we need to do now? We need to make sure, see, this needs testing. So that disappears, but if we refresh it, it's there. What I'm interested in is what's going on here. What is happening there? It's double now. Let's add another reply. Something funny is going on here. Let's see what's happening. Okay, yep. So it's adding this container regardless. So we only want to, if there's length of these, render this. So I guess we could say, let's use our subcomments because we're using it anyway. So we're going to say here, const subcomments is equal to parent comment dot subcomments dot length is greater than 0, right? Oh no, sorry. That's what subcomments are. Then we're going to say const has subcomments. Okay, so now we can pull this out of here, and we're going to say subcomments. So what we can do now is we can say, where are you? Here. If we have some comments, then we're going to render this whole box. And then here we're just going to say subcomments.map. All right, and that looks better now, because we're not rendering that box regardless. Okay, like, or add a reply to the main comment. Sweet. We need to fix this up so that we can see the actual proper count. Let's see if, yep, we're still rendering this. Do we have count? Comment likes, there we go. So it's inside there, so we can go, where are we doing comment count or likes? Here. So how does this look? So it looks like this. We're going to have, this is a big comment dot count dot comment likes. Let's see if that works. 0, 1. Okay. Then this our friend, let's just do this. Before we continue, we're going to say comment count. Comment count is equal to, nope, that's not right. Comment likes or 0, sure. So where are we doing that? Here. And then we're going to say comment count is equal to 1, likes. Now, did we have that? I think we had that as a capital, so I'm just going to change that. Cool. Now also what I want to do is I don't even want to render this if we don't have, so if comment count is greater than 0, then we render this. Otherwise, we don't want to show it. It's here. All right. So now when we have no likes, it shows nothing. Otherwise, we have this little guy here. Awesome. Okay. So we need to have an invalidate function so that we can invalidate this and refetch. Now it isn't really good to, so what I can see here is it isn't really good to fetch the whole post again right now. So what we could do is we could just fetch comments for a specific thing, but I mean, I think that's a premature optimization right now. But what realistically what we want to do is maybe fetch the comments for the post, and then when we add a new comment, we just fetch the comments again, not the whole post. But right now, very small, probably we don't need to focus too much on that, but that is something we could definitely optimize in the future. So what we want to do here is we now need to, so when we use sub comments or post comments, so post comments are already calling invalidated. This is the sub comments. So we need to be able to provide an invalidation function So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this callback out, invalidate post, right? So now inside of use post comments, we're going to have invalidate post, and we're going to pass that callback into the comments here. I'm just going to say invalidate, and that's going to be the invalidate post. Because this comment doesn't care about the post. It just wants to know, like, what do I call when I want to invalidate? All right, so this is saying, what are you doing? That's fair. So here we need to add the callbacks. And this will be the invalidate. It's just called invalidate, non-validate post, and it's just a void function. We don't pass it anything. Sweet. So let's fix this up. Okay, now we can pass this now into here. So we're going to pass a callback through here. That'll be the invalidate function. What are you saying? Wow, TypeScript being a bit slow, or VS Code I should say. So it's not in here, it's in, is this in sub comments? Yep. So we need to say callbacks now, and then we have an invalidate. And that's just a void function. Again. And then here, callbacks, invalidate. So we basically delegated the responsibility of providing the invalidate function up the tree. And this means that, like, because we could be using sub-comments on a post anywhere. It could be any type of comment as well. It could be a project comment. So we want to just say, hey, we don't always want to invalidate a post. We might want to be invalidating a project. So we're going to pass that straight up the tree and say, you handle it and give it to us. And then whatever happens, we don't even need a call with any params. We just pass invalidate like this. And then whoever the parent is can decide what happens in that call. So somewhere we're not passing this in. So let's see, use sub comments. It could be down here. Right, so this can't actually invalidate right now because you can't create a subcomment, but we'll pass it through anyway. All right, let's see if this does anything. I'm just going to refresh the page just for my sanity. So let's add one in here. Subcomment on this one. Send. There we go. That's it. So now we can comment on a comment. Awesome. All right, so that's us. We've now added the ability to add sub-comments on a comment. So the next one we will look at liking the comment. All right, so I've just opened up a new post here so we can start nice and clean. So I haven't had this issue yet. Let's just, do some, hopefully doesn't happen on mine. All right, send that. Now we're going to reply. I'm going to say, that's great, Ken. Cool, so our sub-comments are working. Now, what we want to be able to do is click like and like. So what is that? That's a comment like. So that's one of these guys again. So we have set that up, I believe. Comment likes, have we not? No, we have not set that up. All right, so we need to set up comment likes. Now let's just double check that model. It's a single here, so we're gonna just see it's gonna be very much like post like. So we can do the same thing we've done before. Copy, new file, comment like. All right, boom. Find post like. So that's comment like now. And then wherever we have this, becomes comment like. And then wherever we have post, we have now a comment. All right, create comment like, get likes count for comment. Current user only, comment where like, current da-da-da. Awesome, our good's using the same code. All right, so this will be comment likes, and this will be comment likes router. So we're gonna chuck that in. So there we go, comment likes. All right, so now it's not the same. It's not quite the same as the button because it's not a button. This is controlling something that happens on the side here. So we can look at the comment like button, or the post like button, I should say. So it's in post like button. The logic in here is similar. So what I'll do is I'll do the same thing. We'll have a new component called like button. Let's create a new file. Still need to get used to that. End.tsx component, and let's just grab this thing. So it's very similar, but instead of taking a post, we're going to pass a comment. Okay. Get likes count for comment ID. What is it called? Get likes count for comment ID. Does not exist on type. Okay, interesting. Anyway, I'm going to keep moving. So total likes. Get likes count. Comment likes count. Do we need that right now? Probably not in here because we included in the comment. User likes, that's what we do need. We need to know how many times the users liked it. So this button's slightly different. So if we look at our, where is our comment component? The like button, where are you? It's this, that's all it is. So the button is just this. So the variant is what is important. And it's a link. So we don't use the size. And then we just have the word like. So we still have the redirect. So we actually shouldn't show this at all. Right. Let's see. So this will now be the comment. Let's put that in next to here. We're going to import a like button from here. And we're going to use that where we are here. And we need to pass the comment in. Close. I'm just going to close all these. Okay. Comment. All right, let's see what we have. We should have 2 buttons now. What's this? Comment likes router from comment likes. Module not found. It's probably why it was complaining. Comment likes. I keep doing the same thing. There we go. Okay, it's got the little heart icon there. Probably can lose that. Let's just remove our old variant. Yeah, we probably don't need that right now. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of the icon, left icon, which means we can get rid of this. Now when you hit like, let's see what happens. Does that actually like it? Yes, it did like it, but we need to invalidate when we've done that. So we're not actually using this. So we're going to do the same thing as what we did before. We have an invalidation function that comes in here. We're going to pass that in to our button. So in here we're going to have callbacks, we're going to have invalidate, and that's a void function. All right, now we're going to get rid of this one, and we're just going to call invalidate again. And it's going to invalidate what it needs to. Let's see what happens. So I wonder why that's not working. So it's working when we do it, but the delete isn't working. So it's probably this. User comment likes. Oh, that was the invalidation that we have to run as well. Actually. Yep. So we do actually need this. This is invalidate. This is interesting. I'm wondering why this isn't there. We actually need to call both. And what we want to do here is actually change the word from like to unlike. So that's working. I wonder why that's saying it's not there. So user comment likes count. So let's see. Is that a number, or let's just go here. We're going to say unlike like. All right. That shows that you've done it. Sweet. So what do we have? We have the ability to add a comment, send it. We can then reply on that. We can then like that and like the parent comment. We can like the post. So that's it. So we've added functionality to the post. We can create comments, create sub-comments, like the comments, like the sub-comments, like the post, and just have a great time in general. So thanks for that. That's everything on that one today. But if you liked that video, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Leave some comments if you have any ideas or would like to see the next things. Thanks, guys.